wasn't so great for my Georgia Bulldogs as
Mhm.
they win an ugly SEC showdown in the neutral site in Jacksonville versus Florida, 34-20. Dogs don't score their first touchdown of the game until the third quarter. Allen, be easy on me, man, because I know it wasn't a good one for Georgia. Let me know your thoughts on this one.
I'm gonna take it easy as I can. So, where do I begin, really? Let's just first half, yet again, bad. Bad performance in the first half. Florida's defense was stepping up. They didn't look like a 4-4 team
Nope.
right in the first half. I was like,
Nope.
hold up, who is this?
Right.
Carson Beck, once again, throwing picks left and right, 3
Bad.
interceptions, I think 9 throughout 3 games. You,
Yeah.
if
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
Kirby Smart, you got to start scratching your head.
8 in his last 3.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're
Thanks
good.
for the fact
Still just as
correction.
bad. One
Um,
more, one less don't make it feel any better.
right. Their offense is concerning me right
Oh,
now.
yeah. Oh,
If
yeah.
at what point, kind of like with the Marcel Reed situation, at what
Mhm.
point do you is it next game when Carson throws a pick in the first half? Do you throw in Gunnar Stockton? Is it time?
Right.
Because that's what many Georgia fans that I see are begging for. I
Mhm.
mean, you know, and then Mike Bobo's offense, we're not seeing the Georgia of old,
Bobo
obviously.
doing Bobo
Bobo
damn
things.
things, dude.
Um, it's not the old SEC anymore, Mike.
Nah.
Um, I thought, you know, I know it's a rivalry game. I know it's a SEC matchup. I know all this. But
Right.
with all that in consideration, Florida's not as good as Georgia, and we know this.
Right.
But they in that first quarter, or first half, they were playing like it. 13 in the second quarter, 3-3 for Georgia. It's field
Mhm.
goals. It's just like that Penn State second half. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And look, I thought UGA to be immensely superior to Florida in every way. They still
Same.
found a way to get it done. But they scorched earth in the second half. I mean, the Dogs did what they do, but they have to improve in quarterback play and just offense in general if they want another championship. Because after the Bama loss, seriously, man, teams know that they are beatable now.
Mhm.
It just like in that, just like with Bama, they lag behind in the first half and can't catch up. What happens
Yep.
if that happens again? Today, or they turned it around then in the Florida game. But what
Right.
happens again if they're caught in this situation?
Yep.
You know, that's my concern. But I'm
Right.
gonna let you take the floor.
No, you should be concerned 100%. I mean, when you talk about Carson Beck's turnovers, when you talk about Mike Bobo teaming up with Carson Beck, it feels like to just offensively sabotage this game and not literally. Of course, I'm just being dramatic, but this was an
Right.
ugly one for Georgia. This is one where, I got to start. I understand the magnitude of this college football season. I understand how it's a very big season. And for some reason, I still think when, Georgia goes to play some of these what feels like very inferior teams that I don't have to watch. And of course, I watch the game as it starts off and I'm like, oh, I could tell just a few drives in. I was like, it's gonna be one of those games. You know what I mean? I was
Yep.
instantly glued. I was like, damn it! Now
Same.
I have to watch this thing snap to snap. From the first to the fourth, from 15 minutes in the first quarter all the way to no minutes in the fourth. Like every single bit of this game, I had to absorb it, man. And I hated to feel like I had to babysit my dogs against Florida, but this is a rivalry game. This is one of the oldest rivalries in college football. It is a 12-team playoff. It is the SEC. It is the
Yep.
greatest college football season we've ever seen. So everybody's playing hard because a lot of people still have a lot of things at stake. And I'm not saying Florida is going to be a team to sneak in on us or anything, but damn
Oh
it,
no
they
no.
nearly did in this one. And Georgia had won 6 of the last 7 matchups in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And they had won 3 in a row by 21 plus. Brian, I see your comment here. Georgia's defense is on fire. Defense wins championships. Dog offense, not that good, but not bad. I think they get back to a run game and make it easier on Carson Beck. Do you think they improve to win the SEC? Of course, I think that they
Of
can
course.
improve to win the SEC. As a fan, I hope that they improve to win the SEC because Carson Beck will be the reason why Georgia does not go as far as they want to this year.
Agreed.
And I'm going to just say it now. Carson Beck won't be playing on Sundays, y'all. Carson Beck will not be playing on Sundays in the National Football League. That type of Zach Wilson, Derek Carr, Daniel Jones type decision making does not get you drafted into the league. And if it does, you're a perennial backup. You might be undrafted. You're going to workouts. I'm not sitting here intentionally trying to drag Carson Beck, but his decision making is inexcusable. He's thrown 11 picks in 8 games this year. He threw 11 in all 14 games he played in last year. Regular season, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. This year, 15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And the bad part is when Carson Beck throws a pick, he doesn't just throw one. He doesn't have just a 1 interception game. He throws multiple. All 11 of those interceptions in the last 5 games are all 11 picks that he has in the year. Let me get back to Brian's comment a little bit here. The Dogs offense is not that good, but not bad. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's bad. It is better than most, but when you have Carson Beck trying to run the helm and Mike Bobo trying to convince you that he's right and you're not putting the ball in Trevor Etienne's belly, the game plan with Georgia is very simple. You don't have Carson Beck throw a lot, even though the kid's got a cannon and he can throw the ball well, but his decision making and his
goes into coverage.
Exactly. His inaccuracy, not very good. You know, he feels like he's got to save the day sometimes. So I do think Georgia can improve to win the SEC. They do have to get back to that run game because that's going to be the only reason why they'll be able to win. I love what Georgia's defense is doing as well. Georgia's defense can stop anybody in college football any day. Agreed. They're going to bend, but they're not going to break. And we saw that in this game. And I'm very proud of Georgia for the way that they won this game. These tough games, I give a lot of teams, a lot of other teams, and you've heard me, you know, we've bantered back and forth for the many years of our familyhood. I give a lot of other teams shit when they win close games. But in reality, how you're able to deal with adversity in the regular season just prepares you for the postseason.
Correct.
How you're able to deal with adversity in these types of games defines who you are as a football team, because we are sitting here dragging Georgia's face across concrete if they lose this game.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
We're not, which is a thankful, you know, something that I'm very thankful for here. But a little bit of the takedown, you know, the takeaways and the breakdowns from the game. I thought Georgia moved the ball decently on the first couple of drives. You know, they had no dice in the red zone, so they had to, of course, settle for a field goal off of Carson Beck's first interception. Florida wasted no time, throws a 40-yard bomb to score. Right. For everybody saying that DJ Lagway's injury was the reason why Georgia won, shut the hell up and tell me that you don't watch football without telling me that you don't watch football. DJ Lagway was 2 for 6 with a little over 40 yards in a touchdown. Newsflash, the 40 yards came on 1 pass. So let's say DJ Lagway was, 1 for 5 before that? For 2 yards, 6 yards, no touchdowns. But okay, Florida, okay, Georgia haters, keep telling yourself that DJ Lagway was the reason why Georgia escaped from this game. Like I said, we talked about Carson Beck's interceptions. I just can't fathom this guy's decision-making in all games, big or small. 10 touchdowns and 11 picks in his last 5 games. 8 picks in his last 3. Back-to-back games with 3 picks. We already talked about the interceptions this year versus last year. Georgia's defense, I thought there for a second, was getting a little schooled on the option by Florida's offense after Carson Beck threw his second interception. I was like, don't let these guys come in here and do this, man. Want to send some prayers up for DJ Lagway as well. You have the Yale transfer, Aiden Warner, the walk-on formerly third stringer, comes in. I will give a thank you to the SEC refs for probably the first time this year for getting the non-targeting call correct. That was initially called targeting. It was just a perfect textbook hit to blow up the play. If you guys watch the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It kind of seemed like that was the spark that Georgia needed. You got Florida to punt out of their own end zone. You take over in Florida territory. Just for Carson Beck to throw almost his third, and eventually down the line, it was his third pick of the game. When he's trying to play hero ball on the sack, the Florida defender dropped it on what could have been his third pick. So Carson Beck very well should have had 4 or 5 interceptions in this game. Georgia ends up settling for a 50-yarder right there. But again, you know, Georgia's best drive of the day, which ended in a touchdown, established the run, and scored on a run. I don't understand why this is so hard for Mike Bobo to understand. I know he hears the noise. I know Kirby hears it. They both see it. Your quarterback's decision-making will be the reason you do not win the national championship this year. It will be the reason you possibly don't host the SEC championship, play in the SEC championship, whatever the case is. I still think Georgia is comfortably and still firmly in the 12-team playoff and has that chance as good as anyone to make it to the national championship, because everyone is, you know, still kind of flawed in college football, and that's the beauty of this sport. But again, Carson Beck's decision-making is just absolutely undeniable. Thankfully, Georgia finds life again in the third quarter. They outscore Florida 14-0. Why are we passing the ball on 3rd and 2? Oh, because Mike Bobo is the OC. I just don't get that. It's really
Feed
simple.
Trevor the ball.
Literally, put the ball in Trevor's belly. Just like when they say when you go to the Falcons game, give the ball to Tyler. Talking about Tyler Algier. Give the ball to Trevor. Yeah, I thought at one point these teams were really competing to just see who can put together the worst offensive drive of the day. Florida had 7 of their first 11 drives go 3 and out with just 9 first downs. It was really petulant quarterback play from Aiden Warren as well. Beck did have a big-time throw on 3rd and 7 in this one. Clean pocket, delivered it well. The Dogs were 2 of 9 on 3rd down up until then, which got them 3-10. Still very bad on the day. But I will say, after Carson Beck threw his 3rd interception, he only had 2 incompletions on the night, 12 for 14, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I guess he did show us a little bit that, hey, I can rebound from some of these bad mistakes. More times than not, he doesn't. And I don't want to continue to have to watch my quarterback dig himself out of multiple interception games, dig himself out of multiple bad decisions, because Georgia's better than that. Carson Beck, unfortunately, is the weak link on this football team right now. And I hate to say that because quarterback is not a position that you want to admit that to.
No.
But, Georgia played as well as they could. They definitely battled back and forth with Florida. I believe firmly that Carson Beck's decision-making was the only real reason that Florida was actually in this football game, because Georgia still comes out and puts up 34. Yep. They have an ugly interception from Aiden Warren, which clearly, if you watch the play, he kind of could have had a crossing route. Georgia's defense was kind of busted at that moment. So, there's definitely some room for improvement here. But the glaring thing, without a question, is the fact that Carson Beck's decision-making is horrible, mid, and it will hold Georgia back from where they want to go.